Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney. I was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 19 in college, and this channel is just a little bit of a video diary for me, just kind of sharing things that I've learned along this process, things that have helped me, things that haven't, just trying to help other people, particularly other women, because diagnosis is often a lot later for us. Today I was kind of reflecting on how I was able to survive college with ADHD, given that I was diagnosed a year and a half into college. And I did come up with a list of quite a few things that actually did help me. I started out with a very low GPA, like barely 2, and my last semester I ended with a 3.5, I believe, and I steadily was able to increase my GPA each semester just by using these things that helped me, understanding what was helping me and what wasn't, and being able to learn through the process. So yeah, here is that list of things that helped me survive college. So the first and foremost tip that I would recommend to anyone in college who has been diagnosed with ADHD is to register with disability services. Unfortunately, I was not able to do this until I was diagnosed, so I did go a year and a half without any of these accommodations, but I was told to as soon as I was diagnosed, and I didn't hesitate. I know that there's some stigma around it, and there's a lot of stigma around ADHD and whether a lot of people even think of it as a disability, but the accommodations that you can get for it at university are so incredibly helpful. I was able to get extended testing time. I could take exams in a different room. They had technology that would read material and help me take notes. I got accommodations so that professors would send me notes in advance because I had a really hard time focusing on taking notes of what was on the board and also listening to what the teacher was saying at the same time. My ADHD prevents me from focusing on those two things at the same time. So I was able to get my notes in advance, write them in advance, and then just be able to absorb what the teacher was saying. So I highly recommend registering with disability services and getting those accommodations as soon as you can. I know a lot of colleges have a long wait time to talk with a disability services specialist, so I recommend getting on that as soon as you have the information that you need for it, and it was tremendously helpful, so highly recommend. The second thing that helped me a lot in college, which took me a very long time to learn, and that I'm still working through, is to be realistic instead of hopeful when you are planning for things. So this goes for registering for classes, planning out your homework time. I know that a lot of the time it can seem appealing to sign up for an 8 a.m. because you want to just knock your classes out, get them done for the day. But if you're someone who sleeps in, if that's not how your body works to wake up at 8 a.m., I would recommend going with what your body is already used to instead of trying to create a new habit, because everything about college is new for most people, and trying to change the way that your body functions and sleeps can be really chaotic, and it's also extremely hard to set and keep habits with ADHD. So I know that it's nice to be hopeful, but I would recommend being realistic and going with what you're already used to, and that sets you up for the highest chance of success. That also goes for planning for homework. I would err on the side of overestimating how much time it's going to take you to do tasks, because a lot of the time people with ADHD underestimate it. So if you have a commitment at 5 p.m., I would say give yourself a few hours to do homework, even if it's like 2 things. Like, overestimate and be realistic, and that will really help you not set yourself up for disappointment. It will help kind of build in some self-compassion. the third piece of advice I have is to pick your study buddies carefully and kind of know who is going to reinforce the study atmosphere and who might disrupt that. And I know college can be a time of making lots of friends with lots of different personalities, and I think that it can be helpful to be discerning about which friends you necessarily want to study with if you really want to get work done and if you really want to get studying done. Everyone has their strengths. Some people, sitting down and focusing is really easy, and for some people it's hard. And so if you really need to just crank out some things, really need to study for an exam, I would recommend going alone or picking someone to go with who also has a lot of work to do and who can focus on their own without distracting you. Because a lot of the time, neurotypical people, they say something distracts them, they can get right back on track. With ADHD, however, a lot of the time, it can be a lot more difficult to get back on track. So make sure that you're also setting yourself up for success in study and work environments. And if you really want to go with your friend who loves to talk and you want to have a study date where you want to talk, then maybe you pick a day where you don't have as much work to do, or it's work that's really easy, like taking notes instead of like studying for a midterm. Just kind of picking and choosing your moments so that you're not necessarily excluding friends, but also just being mindful of what helps keep you productive and the people who will foster that. The next thing I learned applies in both living environment and school environment, and this is body doubling, which is something I learned about in my psychology classes, and it's where you have two people who are kind of working in tandem, doing the same thing. In my mind, it's not necessarily always doing the same task, but it's just having someone next to you or near you that you know also needs to be focusing on what they're doing, and that kind of helps keep you productive and feels like you have a partner in this and that you're not alone. I did this for studying a lot. I had a friend who is my best friend, and she knew when it was time to lock in, and we didn't talk. We would sometimes like laugh at someone walking by saying something funny, but for the most part, we were just comfortable in each other's presence without talking, and we could sit next to each other or across from each other, just get our stuff done, and we'd be good. This also went for our living environment because we were roommates. So say we both had messy rooms, or even if I had a messy room, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I need to clean my room, like I need to do laundry, and we would do it together. We didn't have to be in the same room, but we knew that we were both doing it. So like, I was cleaning my room, she was down the hall cleaning her room, we'd turn on our speaker. Didn't see each other, but we knew that we were both doing it, and it felt like I had a partner in what I was doing, and just someone to kind of commiserate with and get it done at the same time. It was fun. It was helpful. I'm not sure that I would have gotten a lot of house chores done without having that body doubling. Okay, so this one is a little bit tricky, I think, and it's something that takes a little bit longer to foster, but something that I tried to do, something that I discovered early on in college, is that it's very easy to get a quick dopamine fix that tends to have consequences. So there are so many opportunities in college, like drinking or like going to get some junk food, maybe some risky dating habits that can be really easy to get like a quick dopamine fix, a quick rush, but it doesn't always feel great the next day or longer down the line. And so, if you're having trouble in school, if you're feeling down, that's something that's easy to turn to. And so what I did that really helped me was I tried to set up more stable and long-term ways to find happiness and just to get that satisfaction, so that the quick, easy fixes were less appealing. Because I tended to take risky choices in college because of my ADHD, and it was really easy for me to turn to those things, like eating a lot of junk food. And so some things I did were I found hobbies that were easy, that didn't require like driving anywhere. I would take photos of my friends. I love photography, and that was simple. I didn't have to do much for it. And so being with my friends and participating in my hobby really got me that satisfaction and that joy. And I read. I just found a lot of hobbies that were easy, that I could turn to, that would have good consequences and would make me feel better in the long run. So those are a few of the things that helped me in college. It took a lot of trial and error to get there, and to be able to have this kind of tool bag of things that I could go to. And it really took a lot of self-intuition and listening to myself to think, oh, hey, this isn't working. I should change this. I also highly recommend just letting the people around you know what's going on. And I know that ADHD can be mentioned in an offhand way. Oh, like, oh, I'm so ADHD. But I think it's also important to just like say on a serious note to the people around you who might be able to help you, hold you accountable. Hey, I have this diagnosis, I have this thing that I sometimes need a little bit of help with, like just letting you know. I think communication is extremely important because no one's going to be able to help you if they don't know what's going on. I think that's honestly the big thing, and it applies to teachers as well. So yeah, that's some of the advice I have for current or incoming college students who have ADHD. I actually thought of a lot more while filming this, but I didn't want this video to be 25 minutes long. So I would be happy to add another part and create a series. So let me know if you want to see any more. And yeah, I really enjoyed filming this. So yeah, let me know any feedback you have. Bye.